You know, confusion is something that you just can't afford in a market like this. One of the topics that people are still confused about are the credit bureaus, their relationship to each other, and their relationship with the credit reporting system. Now, there are three major credit bureaus: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. I know the word bureau sounds official, but guess what? These are not government agencies. They are private companies. You also need to know that they are competitors. They get paid off of selling your information. Now, the bureau that you're familiar with may be based on where you're based. Let's say, for instance, you live on the West Coast in California. More than likely, companies in that region are going to pull Experian. Or if you're in the Midwest, like I am, they're going to pull TransUnion. And companies that are on the East Coast are likely to pull Equifax. Now, there is no law that says that lenders must report your information. Now, this confuses people because they think that, oh my God, these big, powerful credit reporting agencies, they know everything about me. But really, they don't. Companies only report to the bureaus that they want to. But typically, major companies are going to report to all three bureaus. Also, when you get a mortgage, for instance, they will also pull all three of your credit bureaus. Now, here's where it gets confusing because we're going to start talking about credit scoring. There is one scoring model leader, and that's FICO, the Fair Isaac Corporation. Did you know that 90% of the top financial institutions in the U.S. use this scoring system? Now remember, this is only the scoring model. It's important to get this. The bureaus are the ones that house the information. The scoring company is the one that has the mathematical formulation to calculate it. FICO uses the information that's compiled by Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And all of the information that's reported about you is then dropped into the FICO scoring formula. The result is that you actually have three different credit scores. One score for TransUnion, one score for Equifax, and one score for Experian. The reason that you tend to have different scores is really for a few different reasons. First of all, there is slight variations in how FICO is formulated for each of the three bureaus. Also, you never quite know what companies are going to report information to one bureau and not the other. And because there's all of these variations, guess what? Your scores are going to be different. Now, here is where it really gets crazy. The bureaus also have their own scoring system. Isn't that something? So how do you know whether you want FICO scores or the scores that the bureaus are producing? Well, guess what? FICO is what is majorly used by companies to determine if you're a good risk. So even though the bureaus have their own scoring systems, you really need to know about your FICO score. How did FICO get this popular? Because the government said so. No, not exactly. What the government did is strongly recommended that when you get a mortgage, that they look at FICO scores. So what ended up happening is that everybody followed suit and started pulling FICO scores as well. Now, the bureaus, they weren't too happy about this because the scoring systems that they were selling weren't the ones that the rest of the industry was using. So guess what they did? They came up with a new scoring system called Vantage. You haven't heard of that yet? Don't worry, we're going to look into the future, if we could with a crystal ball, and see if Vantage scoring catches up to FICO scoring. So what does all this have to do with you? Well, I don't know about you, but if someone was making money off of my information, I would want to know who they are. That's why you need to know about the credit bureaus. And by the way, you need to know about FICO too. FICO has sold over 1 billion of those credit scores. Were you one of them? Now, you have to turn the tides in your favor because all of these people are making a whole lot of money. Figure out how to capitalize on this crazy scenario that I've been telling you about. Believe it or not, this can be a positive part of your credit plan. Do you want to know how? Our 10 Credit Building Commandments DVD and workbook will show you the way. Visit us at creditunlock.com. and unlock the mystery.